We all like to believe we're rational, that we weigh the pros and cons, think things through, and make smart choices. But here's the truth most people never face. Your brain is not built for logic. It's built for survival. And survival doesn't care about accuracy. It only cares about comfort. Every day, without realizing it, your mind edits reality, twisting it just enough to make you feel safe, confident, and right. This is the illusion of clear thinking. Rolf Dobelli's book, The Art of Thinking Clearly, pulls that illusion apart, one bias at a time. Dobelli doesn't teach you how to think more. He teaches you how to think less wrong. His book is like a mirror, one that doesn't flatter you, but shows you every mental smudge and fingerprint on your thoughts. Because clear thinking isn't about being smarter than everyone else. It's about being more aware of your own blindness. In a world overflowing with opinions, noise, and manipulation, that awareness is the closest thing to power we have. So let's explore a few of the traps that silently shape your decisions, and what it really means to think clearly. The illusion of rationality. Let's start with the biggest illusion of all, the belief that we're in control. You don't choose every thought. You don't analyze every decision. Most of what you do, buying, reacting, agreeing, is driven by instincts you never voted for. When you buy something you don't need just because it's on sale, when you defend an idea just because it's yours, when you ignore evidence that makes you uncomfortable, that's not logic speaking. That's your ego protecting itself. We don't seek truth. We seek comfort. And comfort feels safer than accuracy. Confirmation bias. We love to be right. That's why we build echo chambers, filled with voices that sound like ours. If you believe a theory, you'll find proof of it everywhere. Because your brain doesn't search for truth, it filters for agreement. It's why arguments rarely change minds, and why being open-minded is harder than it sounds. Real clear thinking begins when you stop asking, "What proves I'm right?" and start asking, "What could show me I'm wrong?" That single question, asked honestly, is one of the hardest and most freeing you'll ever ask. Survivorship bias. Success stories are everywhere. Follow your passion. Drop out and build your dream. Start a business and never give up. But we rarely hear from the people who did all that and failed, because the spotlight only shines on the ones who made it. We study winners and ignore the silent majority who didn't survive the process. That's survivorship bias. And it tricks you into thinking success is common when it's not. If you only look at who made it, every path seems easy. If you look at who didn't, you realize how much luck and timing actually decide the game. Sunk cost fallacy. We've all done it. Stayed too long, tried too hard, or refused to quit. Not because it was working, but because we already invested too much. The project that drains your energy. The relationship you've outgrown. The business idea that never took off. We cling to them because letting go feels like admitting failure. But in reality, the only thing you lose by quitting is the illusion of control. Clear thinking means seeing the past as gone, unrecoverable. What matters is whether continuing still makes sense now. Social proof. Then there's the pull of the crowd. When everyone's doing something, it feels safer to join them. That's why we line up at busy restaurants and buy products with endless reviews. But the crowd has been wrong many times. History is filled with examples: bubbles, panics, witch hunts, and wars. Clear thinkers know that popularity doesn't equal truth. When everyone's shouting, the smartest thing you can do is go quiet and think for yourself. Loss aversion. Humans hate losing more than we love winning. Studies show that losing $100 hurts twice as much as winning 100 feels good. That's why we avoid risks, even when the reward could change everything. Our brain equates different with danger. But in today's world, that fear can cost us growth, opportunity, even happiness. Thinking clearly means seeing loss not as death, but as data. Every failure refines the map, if you're willing to read it. Authority bias. Confidence is magnetic, but it can also be misleading. We trust the person who sounds certain, not necessarily the one who's correct. We see a title, a suit, a platform, and our skepticism fades. Authority bias makes us outsource our thinking. It feels easier to believe someone who looks like they know. But confidence is not competence. A clear thinker doesn't surrender to titles. They surrender only to evidence. Outcome bias. We love simple judgments. If something worked, it must have been smart. If it failed, it must have been stupid. But reality doesn't work that way. A reckless bet can win. A careful plan can fail. Clear thinkers understand that good decisions aren't judged by results, but by reasoning. Because luck can disguise stupidity just as easily as it can punish wisdom. After seeing through all these illusions, we have to ask ourselves, what does it really mean to think clearly? It's not about turning off emotion or becoming cold. It's about slowing down long enough to see the invisible forces steering your mind before they make the turn for you. When you notice these biases in news, in ads, in arguments, something changes. You stop reacting. You start observing. You begin to see the strings behind the puppet show. And that awareness, that small pause before you decide, is where clarity begins. Dobelli once wrote, "Avoiding stupidity is easier than seeking brilliance." That's what clear thinking really is. Not chasing perfection, but sidestepping error. In a noisy world that rewards speed, the rare advantage is stillness. To pause, question, and see things as they are, not as you wish they were. Because when you learn to think clearly, you don't just make better decisions. You build a better life, one thought at a time.